use your God power to get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Now let's go take a look at this next one. God power exercised by visualization. Okay, we start out in the same place as we did before. We got the physical meaning of the person. That hasn't changed. But then we have the thought meaning of weight. Because remember, we're not actually lifting weight this time. We have the thought meaning of what weight is in our mind. Then we have the thought meaning of lifting the weight. What's the result? More muscle. Because we substituted the physical meaning of weight for the thought meaning of weight. We substituted the physical meaning of lifting for the thought meaning of lifting, and we got the same result. Because the result is from meaning. How did you create the meaning? In one way, you create the meaning in a physical way, using physical means to create the meaning, and in the other way, you use thought process to create the meaning. Both of them created muscle. Because what is the meaning of muscle? Gaining muscle? The meaning of gaining muscle is the muscle is exercised, therefore, the meaning of exercising muscle means gaining muscle. So in the first one, we gave the meaning of exercise by exercising. And in the second one, by God power, we gave the meaning of exercising just by thought of it. Both cases got more muscle. Here it says, building muscle meanings have been activated and are being elicited from the situation. Now here, this is the first example we're going to have of the tuning forks. You're going to get a lot more understanding of that as we go. That's why when you read the book for the second time, it's going to make so much more sense to you, and you're going to get so much more out of it, because you will understand all the diagrams, and you'll have a lot of basis for these new concepts. Here it says, the green tuning fork vibrations are positive meanings, and they resonate and elicit all the things that will make them stronger. Notice that the thought of working out elicits all the same muscle-building activities that actually working out does. So you see, he's thinking about working out. That's the green tuning fork. That's the tuning fork of belief. Okay? Thinking about exercising, he's visualizing it. And so what's happening is by thinking of that, he's creating a certain vibration. And that vibration, that certain thought, that certain meaning, is eliciting from his body a certain result. And the result is more muscle. Now, in the first one, where he was actually lifting the weight, he was also eliciting a certain response from his body, a certain result, which was more muscle. In both cases, he elicited exactly the same bodily activities. He elicited exactly the same body response. How was it elicited? It was elicited by meaning. Meaning elicited it. In one case, he created the meaning by physically doing it. He created the meaning in a physical way. His physical activity generated a meaning. And in the second way, his thought process generated a meaning. Now, in the video, they said the people who were visualizing it actually gained more muscle. All that tells me is this. Meaning is meaning. Okay? Now, the people actually lifting could only lift a certain amount of weight. That was it. But the people visualizing could actually visualize a heavier weight because they weren't actually lifting it. So they could have very well been visualizing even more weight or more repetitions And that could be why they gain more muscle mass. Because the first people, since they were conveying meaning in a physical way, they can only convey as much meaning as they physically could do. They couldn't convey any more meaning than that. They couldn't lift any heavier weight, and they couldn't lift it any more times. They had a limit to how much meaning they were able to convey. But for the people who were visualizing, there was no limit to what they could convey. They could be lifting heavier weights and more repetitions easily. That's the power of your God power. The moment you take control of your meanings and you decide to assert them yourself beyond the physical means, there isn't anything you can't do. Okay, so let's see what this says here. At this point, I need to explain the green and red tuning forks. Now, here you got the green and red tuning forks. I didn't mention the red ones. The red ones would be the negative meanings. That would be a case where somebody didn't believe that they could do it. They didn't believe that they were actually lifting weights. They didn't believe that this would work. If that was the case, they would be eliciting a negative response from their body. They would not be eliciting the same muscle building properties that actually physically lifting would. They wouldn't be eliciting any muscle building properties at all. This actually does happen to some people who are actually physically lifting because in their mind, they think they can't gain muscle. And so while they're physically giving meaning of lifting the weight, mentally they're counteracting that meaning by saying, even though I'm lifting this weight, I'm not going to gain muscle. So guess what happens? They don't gain any muscle. How can they? Their meaning that they're asserting in their mind is overriding the physical meaning that they're creating. So in this case, he's eliciting the activity of the green tuning forks, and you can see them vibrating. They're active. They're responding. But the red tuning forks are not being elicited. They're not being activated. They're not being called upon. There's a lot of negative possible things there could be, but none of them are being called into action. None of them are being elicited. Okay, so it says here, at this point, I need to explain the green and red tuning forks illustration above. Throughout this book, these tuning forks will give you a visual image of how the meaning process is working and activating appropriate responses. In this example, you have the meaning of exercise, which could be represented by the green tuning forks. When a certain meaning is initiated, it elicits from the situation all things that are like it and bring them into action. At the same time, all those responses that are not relevant to the meaning asserted, like the red tuning forks, do not respond and are not activated. The meaning of exercise causes all the responses needed to create muscle to become activated. Some call this the law of attraction, where like attracts like. Once you read this section on frequencies and resonance, you will really understand the meanings that these tuning forks represent.
Options. Now activating the next video, play options. 1 moment please. Click on the green arrow to start watching the next video. Or, click on the red arrow to start watching the prior video. Or, click on the tan arrow to go to the main course menu and guide, with links to all course chapters, excerpts, and special reports. Up next, special video options. Click on your choice of course videos, menus, and excerpts. Now switching to the special video options menu and activating the video selection buttons. Click on your selection number to start watching the video. 15 seconds till we switch to the next page with the free download information. Pause the video now if you need more time to review the available selections. This is the end of this course video. Its video number is listed above. To watch the next video, simply click on the next video in number sequence. Thank you.